All right, good morning, everybody. Woo, woo. Looks like we all survived the weekend. All right, yeah. Thought we were going to have to build an ark on Saturday. I told my husband around 9 a.m. Saturday morning because it was raining so hard and so fast, it was up over the curb. And of course, flooded our garage, all that stuff. So we got a lot of nothing done on Saturday. I said, if we go get those floaties out of the pool, I'm telling you right now, we can go floating down the street. My goodness. The whole Oklahoma City area, horrible. But it sounds really rude to complain about our little flash flood, considering the Texas Hill Country is still getting it. So don't be wasting your prayers on me. Because they're getting it bad again. Woo! Something else that occurred to me. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. We're about 5 months away from Christmas. Now, you all know in about a month, I'm going to be teasing about me putting up my Christmas tree. And I know some people are like, I don't do anything with Christmas until it's December 1st. But I want everyone to get into the Christmas spirit, okay? Please. Let's get into the Christmas spirit, okay? Let's do some elf on the shelf, okay? Let's do that. Now, if I had any of these elves on a shelf, it would scare the shit out of me. But anyway. Are we in the Christmas spirit now? Christmas in July. Let's take a second and tell everybody good morning. Please welcome your neighbor. All right, O'Dawn and Candace have been firing up the Facebook again. Look at this from July 12th, all right? 8:50 a.m. I didn't even know that anyone was up that early at the Wells house. It says, and Josie, our Waylon, our Wyatt, is it better to sell our son than to bring him home? You dropped our case, then cut us off. Now, how many times do we need to explain the case being dropped? It's because the kids are no longer in harm's way. The word innocent was never said in all that paperwork that they just are too ignorant to read. Every Child Tennessee, a statewide effort, is powered by the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. They tag Department Children's Services Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee, Senator Marsha Blackburn, and Doge. D-O-G-E, Doge. What the hell? Okay? So they're talking about, says 5 things you might not know about foster care and reunification. Foster care is meant to bring families back together. Damn. They signed their rights over. Okay? They signed their rights over. You don't get to say, hey, can you wipe that out and let me have them back? Gotta be kidding me. Then here we are. You can read the class action lawsuit and the painful stories being shared. God help our children. We love you, Josie, Wyatt, Waylon, and our Summer. All right, I'm sure there is a class action lawsuit. I'm sure there is. They don't get to be a part of it. Waylon and Wyatt have been adopted. They've been adopted. Josie is up for adoption. I know some people don't really like the way that social media is being used to let people know, that he needs to be adopted. That's really neither here nor there. Then we see this. Governor Lee, why did you let DCS hinder finding Summer Wells? What does Governor Lee have to do with it? DCS didn't hinder anything. They don't work on missing children's cases. This is insane, my friends. This is insane. All right, now we get to this again. We miss you, Josie, and they have to circle him as if he doesn't know what he looks like. Your church misses you. We pray for you all day long. Trust God. Dad, Mom. Now, of course, this is just my opinion, but I think they are hyper honed in on Josie because he is the biggest liability for them, okay? What he knows, what he witnessed, what he saw go on in that house. Remember, he's the one that told Candace he never wanted to come back. Kathy shared that text. Remember good old Kathy? Remember good old Kathy that broke the news to us? Candace's girlfriend for the summertime? So my question is, with all of these people, and I don't mean you guys, I don't mean you all, you know who I'm talking about, that are such huge Wells supporters, well, get in line. Get in line. Go do your 8 weeks of classes. Become Josie's foster parent. Adopt him. Hell, you have about 2 years and 2 months till he turns 18. That's plenty of time. Dawn and Candace had the last 4 years to try to get their kids back. But last summer, they signed their rights away. Josie deserves a chance of having a normal life. All right. You can tell these posts are 110% Dawn and good old Tim. Tim has absolutely nothing to do all day. Why doesn't he go and become a foster parent for Josie? Put your money where your mouth is. Just like our friend Diana Howery, that just gifted 10 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. That is amazing. Thank you. Auntie M said, don't forget, Donald Trump is a ped rapist. What are we talking about here? I'm actually in a good mood today. I really am. I'm actually in a good mood. It is 11 minutes after 9 o'clock Central. Why are you fucking with me? Oh, I know. You want to be the idiot of the week. Okay. Now, make sure you send me an email, and I will send you your t-shirt. Be specific about the size, okay? CLL72020 at gmail.com. Be specific about your size, okay? And I'll get that Idiot of the Week shirt over to you. Now we're going to go back in time a little bit to where Don had a huge slip up when he was talking to Brian Enton.
Each Thursday, we bring you a missing persons case from across the country. And today we have an update to a case we have covered before that has gripped the attention of people from all over the world. Today marks 2 years since a little girl in Tennessee vanished from her rural home.
Has it really gripped people from all over the world? Well, I guess we could say that about our community. Cat's from the United Kingdom. Gaelic is from Ireland. We have several people from Australia. Nufflin, I don't know where she's at today. She's from Germany. So I guess we can say that she really has crossed a lot of borders.
Her name is Summer Wells, and what you're seeing here is a brand new age progression photo from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. This is what Summer may look like today. She'd be 7 years old. She was 5 when she disappeared. All of the attention on Summer's case has led to dead-end tips for investigators, even harassment towards her parents. Now law enforcement are tight-lipped about what they know about the case. Summer's father sat down with News Nation to keep his daughter's case in the headlines. This is Summer Wells. The 5-year-old lived at this house in Rogersville, Tennessee, a tight-knit community of less than 5,000 people. On June 15, 2021, her parents say Summer was helping plant flowers with her mom and grandmother.
She wanted to go into the
Kendra Lynn said that pic looks like she's 13. I know. Kind of freaked me out too, Kendra. Kind of freaked me out. Mama She's back. We've all been missing her. We've all been missing Mama She. Wow. Wow. So they're like such a tight-knit community. Well, they don't exactly take care of their own in that community, as we have seen with our own eyes over the years. I would say tight-knit with secrets. I'm talking virgin on prom night, tight with secrets.
house. My wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house, and the boys were on the internet, of course. She wanted to go downstairs and play with her toys.
He said the boys were on the internet, of course. Candace said they were watching TV.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
2 years after her parents, Don and Candace Wells, gave those accounts, that's still all we know about the last time Summer was seen. Almost immediately, Summer's parents became the center of a police investigation.
Summer's parents, Candace and Dawn, had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything.
Okay. Whether you like him or not, Ronnie Lawson has stuck with one thing for over 4 years. Haven't ruled anything out. They are still persons of interest. Some would say suspects, depending on, well, when you call, who answers the phone. And then they're talking about class action lawsuits and Josie being up for adoption. They're talking about stuff like that when they haven't even been ruled out as suspects in their daughter's disappearance. Make it make sense. Please make it make sense.
Immediately, Summer's parents became the center of a police investigation.
Summer's parents, Candace and Dawn, had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
Could she have gotten herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
no,
you know what I mean?
No, she's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong friends, which is, it happens.
All right. 2 mic drops. 1, our girl Just Me. Now, how are they on the internet when she couldn't call out because she didn't have a signal? I think we've all heard that story. That's the reason I call her 5-bar Candace. Because when she's getting a cash app, cha-ching, 5 bars. Calling 911 on Dawn, cha-ching, 5 bars. Day her daughter goes missing, I got no signal. Ain't got no signal. Ain't got no signal. But she got a hold of Hunter. She got a hold of Robin. Got a hold of David Dotson. Got a hold of Dawn. Got a hold of Marlena at like 4 something in the afternoon, but didn't call 911 until about 6:30 that night. Hence why Ronnie Lawson, when he was talking to an ex-coworker of his, said, you know, I know you're on YouTube and you're listening to all this stuff. You know, why don't you ask them why it took her so long to call us? But right here, he says, she could have made the wrong friends. He goes, and you know, it happens. Well, we're not talking about, spilt milk. We're not talking about rotten bananas. We're talking about your little girl is missing. Listen to how he says it. Turns my damn stomach.
Had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
Could she have gotten herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
No,
you know what I mean?
no. She's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong friends, which is, it happens.
Don Wells pleaded guilty to driving under the influence last year. Candace also filed an order of protection against him, but asked for it to be dismissed. He now faces criminal charges in 3 states, including a domestic assault arrest in 2020. 2 years later, investigators have not charged either Don or his wife in connection to Summer's disappearance.
Everybody makes mistakes, and we all have to learn and go on. We're doing better. It's still very rough for my wife.
Don Wells sat down with News Nation to talk about where the case stands today. His wife hasn't sat down for an interview since this appearance on Dr. Phil in 2021, where she walked out of an interview in Texas.
Oh, what a barn burner that was. I just want to go home. Pulling up the wires and tugging at her damn jean jacket. I just want to go home. And there's Don going, they're just trying to help you. It's not helping me. It's not helping me.
Oh, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this anymore. Yes, I am.
We'll stop. I want you to feel comfortable.
Since Summer's disappearance, Don said,
I'm being interrogated again. Girl, you haven't been interrogated enough. Okay? You haven't been interrogated enough. Bring that damn detective from Florida. The one that had Jen Soto crawling out of her damn skin. Bring him up. Let him sit with Can't.
says their life has been consumed by harassment from people online who believe they're responsible for whatever happened to Summer.
Before you know it, you're getting a mob going. My wife could go to the store and somebody would scream at her, baby killer. Full cops, Candace.
He sent us videos from one of his job sites where some people were demanding to speak with him about the case.
And I hate it when I feel compelled to take up for the Wells. And sometimes people give me no choice. No one needs to be harassed, okay? Especially at work. Because that was wrong. That was just wrong. And let me tell you something. If I was waiting to get my house finished, whatever the project was going on, and I found out that the crew was all sent home because of some people that were harassing one of the workers, well, I'll tell you what, I would have been livid.
My wife could go to the store and somebody would scream at her, baby killer. Candace.
He sent us videos from one of his job sites where some people were demanding to speak with him about the case.
We're gonna follow you. We're waiting here all day.
Don says it's gotten so bad he had to leave the state. Now the two live in a motel in Arkansas, where Don was able to find a new job. As for Summer's case, Don says they have private investigators.
Now we know they're not in Arkansas anymore. Okay. He got done with that job. He went back to Tennessee. We know Can't was all over Miss Daisy's channel getting her cash apps because she needed gas to get back home and all that stuff. I think we remember all that. I mean, vividly. Like it was, yesterday. It was such a damn joke. I mean, she knows how to collect money. She knows how to crowdsource. But according to her girlfriend, Kathy, she didn't know how to do anything. She didn't know how to drive on the highway. She didn't know how to pay a bill. She didn't know how to write a check. She didn't know anything. Yeah, we remember the good old hotel days. Here's a little blast from the past.
Maybe you have to be quiet.
Baby. Tell me.
Hello?
I love you. Love you. I'm back.
Weird AF, I agree, Teresa. And he's sitting there shushing her because he had shit going on. He was fighting with Prayer Garden at the time. Very important stuff Don had going on. Very important things going on. But he's whining to News Nation about how he's harassed all the time. Now, at the work site, yeah, I'd be complaining too. I couldn't believe how many people were celebrating that. Although, I will say, little guilty pleasure of mine. When old JLR went to the No-Tell Motel there in Arkansas, knocked on the door. Here comes Candace in all her glory. And he goes, "Where's Summer?" And she just slams the door. Okay. He should have never taken that video down because it was awesome. It was awesome.
Investigators working with police. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office is still working alongside the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Both agencies declined to give us an interview. Don says he hasn't learned anything new from police, but has always said he believes Summer was abducted. In the past, the sheriff said there's no evidence that happened.
Nothing pointing to abduction, nothing pointing to foul play, other than her walking outside the house and not being found.
There was also a key tip from a neighbor in 2021. A woman and her teen children told police.
Oh, dear God, Jody again. All right, so this was several years ago. Ronnie Lawson, nothing pointing to her being abducted. Right now, nothing for foul play. But we know that the new investigator, we talked about this last Monday, Josh Milton, said they've ruled out that she wandered off. They ruled out abduction. What does that leave, my friends? What does that leave? What does that leave? And for how long are they going to keep denying the evidence? And Don's saying he doesn't really get a lot of communication from law enforcement. Well, there's probably a really good reason for that. Because the last interview that he did with WJHL. He said that the police don't really see eye to eye with him and Candace. How about that? Could you imagine?
They heard a scream about an hour before Summer went missing.
I wish every day that when I heard that scream, I hadn't tried to dismiss it.
But the sheriff said after multiple interviews, that tip led nowhere. One clue they're still looking for is a pickup truck seen in the area around the time Summer vanished. It's described as a red or maroon Toyota truck with ladders on the back. Even if it's found, police aren't sure if the truck is connected to the case.
I do have hope. Whatever the outcome is, I have hope in God. One day, either sooner or later, I will be with my daughter again.
The sheriff declined an interview in the case. He did email us, though, saying he expects an update on the case in the near future. Also, Don and Candace have 3 boys. They were taken by Child Services a month after Summer's disappearance. Don says they have not been allowed to talk to their boys in half a year, but he hopes to get them back. Thank you.
Well, the reason that they were no longer allowed to talk to the boys is because Dawn was speaking to Josie about Summer. That's right. Look at that, Punk Banjo. Look at that. Hey, Crime Lines and Lies, I like your lives. I'm becoming a regular. Absolutely, you get in here every day. Every day. But what does that tell you? Nothing has really changed. And as far as goofball Ronnie Lawson saying he's going to have an update in the near future, well, shit, that was 2.5 years ago. Define near future. Please, define near future. You know, and again, they're talking about how they lived in that hotel, that no-tell motel. And, you know, boy, I can just imagine what those housekeepers went through when they had to go clean it. Woo! I can smell it from here. I could just imagine. And there's Can't on Daisy's channel getting all those cash apps so she has gas to get back home. But according to Kathy, she's like, mature-wise, stunted. Remember this?
I actually took her to her psychiatric evaluation when they first ordered it, and it was in Knoxville. And at that time, she really hadn't driven on the interstate. You know, she hadn't driven very far, so she was really nervous. So I went with her, and really she didn't even know how to work her GPS. So we get to the doctor's office. I sit down in the chair, and the first thing that she does is sit down on the floor and grabs the Legos and starts playing with Legos. When the doctor came from the back, she opened the door, and she looked at me and she said, "Candace." And I turned and looked at Candace, and I could see shock, actually, in the doctor's face, as she, you know, I think was looking at me to be Candace, you know, sitting in a chair, waiting to be seen, and then she looks over there and Candace is sitting on the floor, playing with Legos. Like a child, yes. Do I feel the Lego thing was legit or a ploy to seem off? Okay, no, it wasn't a ploy. That's who she is. That's who she is. That's the level she's on. And, you know, she has never ordered anything offline. She's never written a check. That's why I had to fill out all the papers for her, because she don't know how to do any of that. So, you know, and that's probably one reason, you know, she don't want to step away from Don, because, you know, he handles it all for her. No matter what it is, he handles it all.
Handled all for her. She don't drive on the highway, don't know how to write a check. She doesn't know anything. Nothing. Kathy, I think it's safe to say you're not telling the truth. That, or Candace really snowballed you. Okay? Candace really pulled the wool over your eyes. Real Rockin' Robin said, They needed brakes and tires, and the cash farm helped. Boy, they sure did. Oh, they sure did. Kathy Bowers said, who remembers when Dudley said, Candace yelled out, did I ever tell you I hate kids? I remember that now. Oh, yeah. She's a real gem. She really is.
Summer Wells' Amber Alert disappearance continues to get national attention on the Dr. Phil show. One goal among all involved has remained the same, that they hope that little girl will be found soon and found safe.
This summer has captured the hearts of so many, including those here at News Channel 11. Ansley Daniel discusses the toll this has taken, not only on investigators, but Summer's family as well.
From local news to Court TV, YouTube, and now Dr. Phil, the disappearance of Summer Wells is going beyond the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County. All with one goal, though, for her to be found.
We would rather not do these things at all. We'd rather our life to go back to normal, and we just wish Summer could come home.
The Wells' recent trip to LA to film for Dr. Phil brought up a lot of pain from the months their daughter went missing.
Just brought up a lot of emotion, very emotional.
The older children of the Wells family are in custody of Child Protective Services, a continual reminder of their lives being upside down, especially during the filming.
All these kids running around on that beach just having a awesome time, and here we are alone. Well, it seems like alone when you ain't got your kids, when you've had them all this time, and then all of a sudden you don't have them.
As Summer's parents...
Well, whose fault is that? Well, whose fault is that? Now, I'm not going to say that Summer's disappearance is their fault, but whose fault is it that their boys were taken by Child Protective Services and they did not comply with the parenting plan to the point that they signed their children over to the state? And now they're on Find Summer Wells, their Facebook page, which does everything except try to find Summer Wells, talking about how the state of Tennessee did them dirty by taking their kids. Well, 2 have been adopted, 1 is up for adoption. And there is nothing they can do about it because they relinquished their parental rights. Okay? They relinquished their parental rights. I don't believe for a minute that the rules that were given to them by CPS were that hard to follow. Show up on time. Be sober. Do not talk to your children about Summer. Don't do it. Well, remember before Christmas when Candace called the foster home and she was lit up like a new tanning bed? Don goes, yeah, they were just trying to say she was drunk, but it was her stroke acting up. No stroke was acting up.
Parents make their plea on national television for people to share information about what happened to their daughter. Media requests to investigators about the case from Beech Creek have also piled in.
The media, not only in Upper East Tennessee, but Middle Tennessee and Fox News and everybody else, contact me in my office with information about this.
Have you ever encountered anything like this in your career?
Talking about missing child to this magnitude, no. I've been through a lot in the last 44 years, seen a lot, investigated a lot, but this is one of the top ones.
The magnitude also spreading to so.
One of the top ones? Dude. Every other kid that's been missing in Hawkins County has been found and been found with a quickness. This is the top one.
Social media and content creation on YouTube, oftentimes allowing rumors to spread.
Majority of it's been a hindrance because a lot of the information that we get It's the same information that we've went over time after time after time. We really don't pay a whole lot of attention to social media because it has really nothing to do with this case because, like I said, 99% of it's false.
The toll
That leaves a void in your life because we want to find her.
and wonder of what happened to Summer, even when in California for Dr. Phil, weighs heavy.
You realize Summer is somewhere that she's probably doesn't want to be, probably locked up or being, hurt in some way. And when we're there on that beautiful beach and our daughter is who knows where.
You can watch all of our recent stories as well as everything dating back to the night she was reported missing on the Search for Summer section of our website.
Yeah, they have their own section. TBI has frequently asked questions. I haven't looked at it in a long time because I really can't even imagine what else could be asked. Just Wimbles, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Cry me a river is what I want to say sometimes with them. I really do. And then, of course, we're going to go back to good old Ronnie Lawson.
Been more than 8 weeks since the family of Hawkins County 5-year-old Summer Wells reported her missing.
Law enforcement wants the public to know their investigation into Summer's disappearance is still going on tonight. Summer Wells was reported missing by her family on the evening of June 15th. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an Amber Alert the next day. For several weeks following, hundreds of
A girl's been a member for a month. Thank you for keeping this case out there. You better believe it. What is that, a picture of your kitty cat? I can't really see very well. What a pretty cat. Thank you for being here. Oh, speaking of, look who made it in. Walking Dead. Look at that. My goodness. My goodness. Now, where's your friend Britt? We can't have our girl Jossie in here and not have Britt because they're always tag teaming.
of rescue personnel performed a ground search in the immediate area near her Beach Creek community home in Hawkins County. While the search not as visible as before, Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson today said that he and his officers have not given up on finding her.
I understand people's curiosity about where we're at in the case as far as investigation. I know people speculate, and I understand that. But they have to understand our number one goal from day one is to find Summer. And everybody's still a suspect, person of interest, however you want to put it. And we're still very intensely looking into it.
All right, that hasn't changed at all. Everyone is still a suspect. Persons of interest, whatever you want to call it, he said. Now, when they say everyone, they're not talking about Uli Girl. They're not talking about Ange. They're not talking about True Crime Beat. They're not talking about Walking Dead. They're not talking about Britt. Where the hell is Britt? Somebody page Britt. She knows better than this. I'm just kidding. They're not talking about Susan. They're not talking about Chrissy. There is a core group of people that they consider to be persons of interest. They're not talking about Diana. Better not be talking about Diana, because she just gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. My goodness, did you fall on the button? Chango, who's the Lena? Chango, who's the Lena? You left a comment, I think, last week, and you said you wish that somebody would listen to your theory. And I've said over and over, I want to hear your theory. This is open discussion. Let me put the link down. Who the hell is the Lena? All right, there's the link.
Investigators are still hoping to hear from someone that may have a critical piece of information that leads them to Summer. You're asked to submit
Credible tips. Credible. Some people can't get that through their head, but hey, that's okay. This is one thing with the case that has always really disturbed me, is when Leslie from TBI said, this is a case outside of the norm. Okay, I'm going to put the link down again. Chango said, I'm back. But I would love to hear your theory. Look at my girl, Lisa. Lisa, member for 38 months. My goodness, y'all making me blush.
breaking news at 6, day 9 in the search for 5-year-old Summer Wells, and investigators say they are heartbroken and extremely frustrated as the case is taking longer than usual to resolve. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Take a look at some new photos of Summer Wells that we obtained today. Summer's mother shared these with us. In a news briefing late this afternoon, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said the search for Summer is, quote, definitely outside the norm when it comes to the standard amount of time for a missing persons case like this.
Look at that picture. Is that Grandis behind Waylon, Wyatt, and Summer? Is that no Wi-Fi Grandis on an iPad? Looks like her to me.
To the standard amount of time for a missing persons case like this.
Typically. Chango, what is up?
Hey, what's going on, ladies?
Not much. How you doing today? How was your weekend?
It's okay. We got some stuff going on around here, but it's been okay. I've never done this online before, so this is like the first time I've ever done this. So I'm not exactly comfortable with it, but I'd like to tell you. All right, you can ask me some stuff, but I'd like to tell you a few things.
Okay. Well, okay. First off, where are you from? I don't want your address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. Grew up in Charlotte, and I live in Waynesville, North Carolina, in the mountains in a camper near the Tennessee border on Smoky Mountain, up near the park.
Gorgeous area. Gorgeous area.
Absolutely. And I was in the flood. Yep, I got flooded, but we're doing good.
Well, that was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. Now, who is Felina?
Well, it's somebody I'm looking into, and I don't like to say names. And I guess I did that for a response, but I've been looking into these people that were here with the little girl that I thought was Summer Wells. They're just related, or they've got an affiliate named Felina Lawson, and I'm not saying that she did anything, but these people that were here, when you look at them on social media, they cross-reference with a lot of people from Tennessee, and it all points back to Summer Wells.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I mean, do you know the story about the couple that was here?
No, I do not.
Okay. So in October, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't have any teeth, so I've got teeth there in a jar over there. Don't ever let anybody pull your teeth out. You will be very insecure your whole life. So I'm gonna try to tell you this.
You can't even see. It's okay, very small. Hard. Don't just keep your teeth in the jar. It's okay. Now,
yeah, I'm funny at that. Hey, so in October of 2023, a couple moved in. A 71-year-old man, a middle-aged woman who drove a trash truck. She was never here. She was always gone at night, and when she did come, she was only here for a few hours. Alexa, stop. I'm sorry. Music was playing. They moved in with a little girl that looked like Summer Wells, and I knew of Summer Wells because I watch y'all on YouTube, and I knew of her, and I didn't think nothing about it. But when they moved in, I said, well, that's weird, that old couple with that little girl. And she didn't go to school. They were here for 3 days, and then they went out of town, and their dog got wrapped around a tree, and I went out to untie the dog, and when I took the dog to the camper, there was a plastic tub on the ground that was labeled Wells 216 in black magic marker. Well, I thought to myself, well, well, that's Summer Wells' last name. I said, well, I better tell my landlord. We might have a problem. So I called
Now,
the landlord. I'm
do
sorry.
do you know what the numbers referred to? Okay, so Wells 216.
I did not know at the time, but now I know it was her birthday. She was born in February of 16. So, so like when I want to remember a number, I usually remember a birthday or somebody's number that I can remember, a part number, if I want to attach it to something. But so they had a little girl look just like Summer. So landlord did not want me to call the police at all. Okay, so that was kind of weird. But next morning he went to the doctor and Bobby calls the police. Police, I said, come do I didn't call 911. I called just the number. I said, please do a welfare check on these people that are just moved over. There's a girl that might be Summer Wells. And it was just the man and the girl. Like I said, the woman was never here. They came out. Two officers came out, and we were talking, and they went up and they met the man and the woman, and then 6 more cars came. I thought they were going to start dropping helicopters out of the sky. I was getting excited. I was sitting in the car. I'm like, oh my God, something is about to go down. So I walk over to the cop, and I said, what's going on? He goes, we think you got something here. Something's going on. Well, they called Tennessee. Not no sooner than they called Tennessee. They were gone, and I was the bad guy. When they were leaving, I mean, they left quickly, and my stomach sunk. I asked them, could they take DNA in case something was wrong? And they said, no, we don't have that capability in this town. And that can't be true. This is 2025, or it was 2023 at the time. It was October 16th. Haywood County, you can do a FOIA request. I guess they probably did a report. But I did some research on these people. All right, so here's some other stuff. After they left, they're standing in an RV, right? 2 donkeys show up. Who travels with 2 donkeys in an RV? So they got these 2 donkeys, and I think, okay, that's weird. That must have been like a reward. Well, a few months later,
you were going to be rewarded with the donkeys?
I think that was a reward for the little girl when the police came. That was her reward. Yeah, the donkeys was a reward to the little girl for not saying anything.
Where did the donkeys come from? Did you hear about in Tijuana where they have those sex shows with those donkeys? Are these like American donkeys or what?
These are just like farm donkeys, like horses, donkeys. Just 2 donkeys. Just who travels with donkeys in an RV? I think that's not convenient. I don't know. Well, we do have property where you can put a couple of donkeys, but I don't travel with donkeys in an RV. But she knocked on my door a couple of days later and gave me a stuffed animal. I said, well, that's weird. She don't even know me. And she invited me. She wanted me to come to a bonfire. I said, well, that's weird. She came back over a couple hours later, knocked on my door again, gave me another stuffed animal, and invited me to a pool party. I said, well, that's weird. The next day, she brings over an empty box. Well, it wasn't empty. It had a card in it. She left it on my porch. She did a ding-dong ditch. I opened the box, and there was a card in it with some hearts, and written on it was Lillian. So I start researching these people, and the little girl is on YouTube. Now, I don't want to say this man's name because of slander, but I will say it. She is on YouTube under his name, inappropriately dancing, with about 6 or 7 videos. Now, there's a lot of little girls that does that.
It's a public platform. You can tell us, you can tell us.
All these other creators have told me that I'm slanderous and I'm in trouble, and that's why I'm starting to think this shit's fake. But no, here's the thing: is I went and I gave that man when she was the next day. She's over there. He cuts wood all day from dusk till dawn. That man stayed over there and cut wood with a log splitter. That's all he did. He looked like he smoked meth, but apparently he doesn't. He's very religious, fanatical. But he left her for 2 hours. January 1st, or it would have been December 31st. He left her for 2 hours, and she came knocking on my door crying, saying she went to the landlord's house. Her peepaw's missing. She's been alone. She don't know what to do. So I called my landlord. It's like 20 degrees outside. I told her, go to your place, your RV, go get a coat. And I met her out in the driveway. I called my landlord, and here this old man pulls up in his pickup truck, and he looks at me stupid, and he don't say nothing. And she lights into this old man like she runs the show, like she was 25 years old, and she's like 7 years old. Well, that night they disappeared. He, her, and the donkeys. Gone. Scratch. Didn't say goodbye. Left in the middle of the night. The woman who drove the trash truck stayed 2 more weeks. And she left. And when she left, yes, she worked in sanitation, but she took every last piece of trash. That's something nobody has ever done in my life, living in a campground. I haven't lived in a campground but since 2017, but usually some people leave some trash. You can also look this man up on the internet. His name is Kenneth Stamey on YouTube. Pull it up right now. You'll see that little girl. Now, I was told by I'm a Bee Mama Bear that she spoke to the daughter of the man, and everything's kosher. Well, I don't think it's kosher from what I see on YouTube. And then if you look the man up online and find out who his family is, his mother's maiden name is Moon, M-O-O-N. That's Summer's middle name. And they got a plastic container with her name and birthday on it. And don't nobody want to talk to me. They keep saying, JSB called me, Jody Sue Brown. Why would Jody Sue Brown call an old man up in the mountains? And why am I so excited about this? Because I'm passionate about it. I think it connects to Summer Wells, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm shut up now.
No, I want to look at this.
That's that little girl. And she looked different. And that ain't the one. There's one that she's dressed like a barmaid.
But you are my mama, Mom. You gotta
hear
stop
that?
listening to Jennifer Lopez.
I don't know if that's in the song or if there was 2 women on that bus. It was a driving bus.
My first TikTok was a lip sync, and it was like, "You're a nice guy. I'll think about it, maybe."
XO baby. Here we go.
There's one of her dressed like a schoolgirl or a barmaid outfit, and that's the one that gets me. But they all, I guess that's what kids do now. I don't know. Some of them seem right, but some of them don't seem right. But you add all the other stuff, and I'm sure there's more to it in my head right now, but it's just not spilling out. But that's the gist of it. That they're affiliated with a lady that just died out of Alabama through a tabernacle, and I'm not saying they had anything to do with it. Carolyn Terrell Barnhill, she just passed away. She was born in Waco, Texas. And from what I have been reading about these people, the person that took Summer, and I don't want to say this is true, and that's what's kind of weird about things. There's the weird thing about the 12 tribes of Israel and these religious fanatics that marry their daughters. That's the kind of people these are. That's the fanatical religion that these people are. I grew up with fanatic religion with my cousin.
Hold on. The people with the donkeys?
Yeah, really fanatical. And when I said Thelina Lawson, look, Thelina may not have nothing to do with anything, but they're affiliated with her. If you look her up on Facebook and watch her, extremely fanatical. Maybe she's just passionate. Hey, and I'm good with that. Be fanatical, but you got to
the fact that they left in the middle of the night with the little girl and the donkeys. In my opinion, this is not Summer, but it needs to be looked into. And I'm glad that you did your due diligence by calling the authorities.
Well, and I did that, and I sent an email to TBI, and that's all I can do. I mean, it might not have nothing to do with Summer, but I just think that the man cut wood from dusk till dawn, and they were cutting trees on Summer Wells's road when she went missing. See, the girl's mother, Melissa, who is on Facebook, did not have a Facebook presence in 2021. That means this man probably had the daughter. And I read a post, which I cannot find now, to where he took the daughter's child and betrayed her, but that's missing. So, maybe this is nothing and I just need to shut up. I don't know. It just seems weird.
Well, it seems to be irking your nerves. And I know what it's like when you get something on your mind and it bugs you.
Absolutely.
But now the person that you want me to ask, Ronnie Lawson, Thelina, is that the woman that drove the sanitation truck? Or is that was hauling around donkeys?
The Thelina is just somebody that I was investigating that they're affiliated with. I just would like somebody to pull a genealogy and see if they're related somehow, if somehow these people are related to some of the other people over there in Tennessee, because he's got when he left here, the woman, I did talk to the woman for like 5 minutes, and you think I would have remembered exactly what she looked like, but I don't. I only talked to her for a few minutes. But she said they went to Tennessee after they left here, and Sebastian Rogers went missing, and they said there was a trash truck on that road that day. I'd like to know who was driving that trash truck. And another thing, if you look up the other Ken Stamey, if you go to the one with the white beard on Facebook, y'all, you go to the bottom of his picture, he gives out his phone number, 864 la da da da, and he's trying to hook up with two hot chicks. Now, I don't blame him. Hell, he's 80 years old. He's trying to meet a girl, but I don't think that's proper if you got a little girl. I just don't know what's going on. It's just weird. I'm sorry, y'all.
No. All right, let's get back to this. Let me marinate on this for a minute. I will say this. You've done more for Summer than I would say her parents, because they want the story to go away. And you're obviously very observant of your surroundings.
Well, I don't know. I'm just an old copier repairman that had a drug addiction from a hospital and then got cancer and then came up here to find a quiet place to die, and then that happened. So I'm just trying to find out if that little girl's all right and if that Wells 216 means anything. If it don't mean nothing, maybe it means something spiritually. If you pull up 216 Ben Hill Road, the address shows up.
110?
216. It's right beside 110, I think. It's down the road near a junkyard.
Okay. Hang on. Let me marinate on this, and we're gonna go back to the case, and I've got some other questions.
Yes, ma'am.
In an investigation like this one, we have some idea of where the case is headed and what might have happened within a few days. In this situation, despite doing everything within our power and exploring all avenues, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain unclear.
Okay. You know, they've got to be so frustrated because, as Leslie said, normally within day and a half, couple of days, we know where a case is heading. She has always said this case is outside of the norm.
You know, can I add one thing? I don't know if you know of Ginger. There's a lady, I think it might be Raven's Nest or Ginger Snaps, but there's a video, and I put it up before, of a little girl at the Seventh Day Kingsport Church. That looks exactly like that little girl that was here when she left. The picture of her that you're seeing on YouTube and the ones on Facebook, she's gained some weight. When she was here, she was teeny tiny. And if you look at that girl on Raven's Nest that was at the Seventh Day Church, it says, "Is this Summer Wells?" Man, I think that's that girl.
Okay.
But that's all I got, y'all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming up.
All right, I'm going to try to get out of here. I'm sorry that I'm happy you guys got some information. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Come on up. Anytime.
Yes, ma'am.
Channel 11's John Janko is at today's news briefing. John, are investigators hopeful at this point that they will find Summer?
Sarah and Josh, while search teams and investigators are physically and mentally exhausted, I can tell you that they all remain hopeful. Leslie, at this point in the search and investigation, do you believe Summer Wells is still alive?
We hope so, but honestly, we just don't know. I mean, we're holding out hope, doing everything we can. Obviously, we typically would have found a child at this stage in the investigation. So honestly, we just don't know.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson again made a plea to those who live in Beech Creek, Sullivan, and Hawkins counties to check and recheck their security or trail cam footage. In the desperate search for Summer Wells, he also had another request.
So if the general public that lives in this area will go back and search their outbuildings, their barns, their hay fields. Now it's mowing season, so when they mow, they need to pay attention. And if you have a resident that cannot search their property themselves, if they'll call my office at 423-272-4848, I will send an officer to your residence to search your property for you.
106 agencies are participating in the search for Summer Wells. You're looking at new video the TBI released this afternoon of crews conducting line.
106 agencies. Now, at the time, they said that the search for Summer had surpassed the search for Holly Bobo. Biggest search in Tennessee history. Now, Seth Rogers says that Sebastian is the biggest search. I don't know, and I don't know how you gauge it. I have no idea. I'll go back to this. 2+ weeks of searching, 106 agencies, and you still have people saying corruption, 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 corruption. As if someone is going to say, get all these thousands of people together and say, by the way, if you come across her, just act like you didn't see her. No, that didn't happen. No, there's something much larger going on here.
Searches in the Beech Creek area near where Summer was last seen. The TBI says the purpose of these searches is to ensure every inch of ground has been covered. They've covered about 4.6 square miles of terrain so far. That's about 3,000 acres. Captain Tim Coop of the Churchill Rescue Squad says they've covered multiple ground multiple times. He said different eyes in different search teams may discover something someone else didn't notice. Live in the Beech Creek community, John Jenko.
My goodness. My goodness. Outside of the norm. They said normally we know what direction we're headed within a couple of days. This is outside the norm. Okay. Good morning, Mama Bear. Good morning. Diana Howry. Well, I tell you what, she's definitely not outside the norm. She is awesome, making it rain again. Such a sweetheart. Thank you for doing that. And of course, Don's always had his own investigation going on. Okay. He's not going to stop with this abduction. He's not going to stop with it. He's just not. He just has always said, he's told me personally. We've had, a few phone calls, a few chats where he has told me, just some bad guy came up here and grabbed her. And I'm like, I mean, where's the evidence to this? There's got to be some kind of physical evidence to prove this. But he also is the one that said he has 7 alibis. Candace ain't got none, and she's going down. So then we have to weigh out this question. Why is he still with her? Why is he talking about class action lawsuits against DCS and honing in and using emotional blackmail on the internet to get Josie's attention? Because Josie could be the key to solving Summer's case. This isn't missing Josie. This isn't loving Josie. What they're doing on that page is called Intimidation 101. It is. Now, remember, this was June 18th. June 18th, 2021. The same day that Candace and Grandis went to the damn water park. The day after, they went to intimidate Hunter and his mom, and of course had to go get new cell phones. June 18th is the same day that Don drove way out of his way to give Dudley some money, his paycheck, according to Dudley. Woo! Water park. I get getting a new phone. That would make sense because you need communication with the police. I don't think anybody's going to fret that. But going to intimidate Dudley, intimidate Hunter and Allie, and going to the water park, doesn't really fit with 48 to 72 hours after your daughter went missing.
I would be interested in knowing what happened that day. I know it's going to be hard for me to have to relive, but...
Well, sir, I was at work, so, but from what my wife has told me and stuff, you know, her and her mother and Summer were planting flowers by her grandma's trailer, which is about, 20 feet from the house there, real close to the house. And Summer all of a sudden said, Mom, I want to go in the house. So she said, fine. And her brothers were in there watching YouTube. And so she watched her walk in the door and went in there. And then she went in there and her brother said that she was going to go downstairs and play with her toys. So she went downstairs and then Mom come in and says, where's Summer? Well, she's downstairs playing with her toys. And they hollered for her and there was no answer. So she went down the stairs and she was nowhere to be found. She went out the basement door. The door was unlocked. But she's never left there. She might be on the other side of the house. Because I went out there before and called for her. She come out from behind the house because she just has to be outside. She's an outside type of person, you know. But she was gone, buddy. And my wife called me and
she was gone, buddy. She was gone, buddy.
Said, hang up for me and call 911 right now. And I was at work and I called 911, threw all my tools that I could in the vehicle, and from Jonesboro, I come out. I made it out here before anybody because I was freaking out, And when I got home, I drove to the bottom property. And I realized that all my neighbors and stuff were combing the woods looking for her, and I realized right then and there that she was not there. I knew right then and there that she was gone. I just, because she would never leave there on her own. Somebody had taken her out.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is she capable of going through? They've covered miles of area to search.
No, she would never leave because for one thing, we have bears and wild dogs, and we got druggies.
Bears, wild dogs, and druggies. Got to be kidding me. And then you have old Cant that likes to go down to Gatlinburg. She spent that entire summer kayaking and camping with Kathy. So what's the excuse for not finding your daughter out in the woods if she truly just wandered off?
Come around other people's houses and stuff, all hours of the night. But this was like at 5:30 in the evening, which makes me think, someone was laying in wait. I've heard somebody say that these people track kids down on Facebook and find them, and I've heard that story. I mean, I don't know, but all I know is she's definitely not anywhere.
People do possibly some overly share on social media. They do. Mainly I just, talk about, crime, the weather, and what I'm putting in my big old fat belly. Some people do way overshare pictures of their kids. But this is so out of the realm of possibility that pictures that Candace was putting up of Summer had someone track them down on such an unusual day when who would even know they were home?
Around there. I think somebody's abducted her. took her out of the area.
Wow. Well, have you noticed anybody suspicious?
No, and and they've done such a good job. They followed every single lead possible. They have tracked down all kinds of people. Yeah, they've tracked down everybody. They even, had me in there, lie detector test on all 9 yards.
They have to rule out every possibility.
Yes, absolutely. So it didn't bother me to do it whatsoever. I understand.
You got a pack of dogs, 3 boys that were left alone all day long. They weren't at work with Dawn. They were there cleaning up the house because they were expecting CPS to come back the next day. They were expecting CPS to be there on the 16th. Okay? I know some people will say, oh no, CPS wasn't going to be there. Well, how the hell would I know, considering they're the ones that said it?
And a lot of times the parents are responsible.
It's recent history that's been the case, or a family member.
Right, absolutely, yes. But we don't associate with all them people. We try to associate with church people and stuff like that. And Summers has got a lot of friends in church that just love her to death.
Where do y'all go to church?
Seventh-day Adventist, sir, right across the street from Walmart, St. Kingsport.
Oh.
Yeah, we was going to the Baptist church, but when I found out the true Sabbath on Saturday, I wanted to go to a Saturday going church, so I thought I'd go check them out one time, and we've been there ever since.
Oh, wow. What have you all been doing while this has all been going on?
Just trying.
Pafooey. We don't associate with those people, bears and druggies. Okay, your wife's a bear and you're a druggie. Yeah, I said it. But you're telling Brian Enton that Candace might have made the wrong friends. Now, I don't know about, you all and your relationships. I can't think of any friends I have that my husband doesn't know about. So, is he trying to say Candace has some kind of secret life? They all hold each other's secrets. And again, I'll die on this hill. They're not constantly reaching out to Josie because they just love their son and they just miss their son. This is intimidation 101. So that boy does not talk. No, I am not saying he did anything to his sister. No, I am not. And right now it is tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Because in about 2 years and 2 months, Josie will be a legal adult. Josie will be 18. And the gag order, as much as the research that I could get through, has not been lifted.
Trying to cope with everything.
Yeah.
Talking to the police. I can't be alone right now for some reason, and so if I have to, I'll go down there and talk to the police and just hang out with them, because I just can't be alone right now. I don't know. I just
How are Summer's brothers doing?
They're coping with it better than me and their mother are. I don't understand that, but when they really think about it, they're upset, but they're coping with it way better. Especially the youngest one. It's like I don't know. It's weird to me, but
doesn't seem real to him.
Yeah. But me, you know, the most I've done is watch the news a little bit. I can't focus on nothing. Originally I'm from Utah, and I met my wife in Arkansas, and we come out here to help my mother because she got sick, and then she ended up dying from, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, but she left us that property, and we've been there ever since.
Okay.
We've made Tennessee our home. There's a lot of good people here.
When did y'all move here?
Well, about 13 years ago from Arkansas, I wanted to help my mother because she was in need.
So your kids, this has been their only home then?
Why do people that are around Dawn and Candace drop like freaking flies? Look at all the people in the last 4 years we have heard about around these two that die. Holly. No, not Holly. Holly's fine. I just saw Holly in chat. Allie. Leslie. Cotton Simpson. They just get to Tennessee. Old nursemaid Candace, supposed to be taking care of the mother-in-law. And, well, what happens? She drops dead. I mean, holy shit, man. Everybody around him dies. Or goes missing. Look at Rose. Or they become a ward of the state they're living in. 2 children are signed over in Wisconsin. I don't know what happened in Arkansas with this baby that was supposedly taken from Candace. For some reason, I kind of doubt that story, but whatever. It is what it is. Horrible, but I hope the baby's safe if this baby exists. 3 boys in Tennessee. 2 have been adopted. 1's up for adoption.
Yes, sir. Born and raised. Yes, sir. Well, except for my oldest one, he was born in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the rest, I think, the rest were all born here. Yes.
And does your wife have a Wisconsin connection?
Yes. Well, her sister, my wife's sister, come up missing. Like, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but they never found no trace of her either.
Where was that?
I don't.
Either is the key word. Either is the key word. Jeff Bobo is asking Dawn, does your wife have a Wisconsin connection? Yeah. Yeah. Will she have a sister that's missing? Yeah. They never found her either. Either. This is 3 days after Summer went missing. Why is there such a finality with Dawn saying, I'll see her in the resurrection. I'm a commandment keeper. I believe in the resurrection. He says they don't have no trait. They never found her either. It's only 3 days, dude. I might understand that tone of a narrative now over 4 years later. But remember, this was 3 days in. Listen to how he says it again.
He was born in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the rest, I think, the rest were all born here. Yes.
And does your wife have a Wisconsin connection?
Yes. Well, her sister, my wife's sister, come up missing. Like, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but they never found no trace of her either.
Where was that?
They never found no trace of her either. Goodness. You know, what a pattern. What a damn pattern. 2 children signed over to the state of Wisconsin. Okay? Supposedly, a baby in Arkansas was taken from Candace because it was born addicted to some substance. I don't know. 3 children taken by the state of Tennessee. And we're all supposed to be cheering on Dawn and Candace joining a class action lawsuit against DCS in Tennessee. Wow. Either. No trace of her either. Well, who's saying that there's no trace of Summer? Like I said, this is 3 days in. What the hell?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've never paid attention to any of that part of it.
Yeah. Do you know where she grew up in Wisconsin?
I sure don't. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I have a criminal history. I do,
Yeah, we know, dude. We know. It's a wonder something didn't happen to Dawn's older daughter. Because remember when old Cant was playing nursemaid to her? And Dawn did slip and say something that he wanted to make sure that nothing happened to his older daughter. And I thought, so you're leaving Candace with her, or you're warning Candace that she better not do anything?
Well, Candace has got her ankle problem, but my daughter has to do 6 weeks. 6 weeks of. I probably shouldn't share this, but I'm going to. But my daughter has infection in her bones, which is normally fatal. But she's got some good doctors on her side. She's been in surgery, and so she's got to go through 6 weeks of infusions or whatever, and so Candace is going to stay here and help her all she can for another 6 weeks.
Give me a second to think about that clip, because I about shit and fell back in it when I heard that Candace is taking care of someone who supposedly has a terminal bone infection. I don't know anything about bone infections. I don't know. I'm going to let that one sit for a minute.
When I was in Utah, when I was younger, but I've turned my life around, doing my best to be a commandment keeper, for sure. Me and myself, they can do whatever they want to me as long as my kids are safe, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so what is your plan now? I mean, what is your outlook?
Well, my only plan now is just, no matter what happens, either way, I'm stay in church, be a commandment keeper, and wait for the resurrection day, buddy.
Yeah.
That's all we can all do,
Waiting on the resurrection day, buddy. Just got to stay in church and be a commandment keeper. Goodness. Listen, according to the book of Romans, we have all sinned and come short of the glory of God. They take it to a whole new level, though. They take it to a whole new level.
Do you have hope for Summer being found?
Well, I have hope, but statistically speaking, or looking at it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I have hope. Now, mind you, his voice isn't shaking. He is not visibly upset. Mind you, this is 3 days after she went missing. Well, I have hope. But statistically speaking, if she wandered off on her own property, statistically speaking, she would be found. And she would be found pretty quick.
I'd feel for anybody in that position. I'm sure you would too. You know, any kid that's being tortured or hurt in any way, you know, and missing their parents and their good friends in church and stuff like that. You know, just unimaginable what she's going through. Yeah. It's the only thing I pray for is for peace for her somehow. I wish she could have got to know Jesus better or something, but she's so young. She don't know what all that stuff means in church, you know. But I don't think God holds that against children. Oh no, not at all. I just wish she had peace of mind. That's all. Yeah. Do you have any hope that this is all going to end well?
This is probably, I'm not an easily offended person. I'm really not. I mean, a lot of stuff just, I mean, as people know, stuff just kind of rolls off. I mean, I might get mad, but you know, I'm over it, you know, pretty quick. But this is such an offensive thing to say, that Summer could possibly be in hell because she didn't understand what was being preached at church. What? And there's Jeff Bobo trying to explain to him, God doesn't hold that against children. No. No. No.
Or looking at it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a tough thing to think about. Well, yeah, of course. You know, I'd feel for anybody in that position. I'm sure you would too. You know, you know, any kid that's being tortured or hurt in any way, you know, and missing their parents and their good friends in church and stuff like that. You know, just unimaginable what she's going through. Yeah. It's the only thing I pray for is for peace for her somehow. I wish she could have got to know Jesus better or something, but she's so young. She don't know what all that stuff means in church, you know. But I don't think God holds that against children.
No. No. Children go to heaven. Children go to heaven. Okay? I am by far not a Bible expert, not a theologist, don't have a degree from Oral Roberts University, but I would take that one to the bank. Okay? That is a sick-ass thing for Don to say. Okay? That is a sick-ass thing for him to say. And he's talking about already 3 days in. 3 days in. Talking about being tortured. And I'm just like, stop that. Stop that. Don't, come on. So we were talking about, you know, cases where children wander off. And as we know, in the last 4+ years, several other children in the same terrain, same county next over, have wandered off and been found. I really can't get that out of my head. Here is a great story where this little boy wandered 7 miles away from home and he was found.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, only on 12 News, the heartwarming reunion between a little boy who went missing and the hero ranch dog who saved him.
The incredible story unfolded between Seligman and Kingman 1 week ago today, where the toddler wandered through the wilderness.
12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra was there for the reunion and has a look at how Buford is being honored.
A moment of peace between a boy and a dog.
This was a story of faith on my side.
They didn't know each other 1 week ago, but now the pair shares a story that's been heard around the world.
He was actually going on a journey that we never thought was possible.
2-year-old Bowden Allen wandered away from his home in Seligman, unknowingly headed on the adventure of a lifetime.
Rough terrain, rocks, trees everywhere. It's very easy to hide.
The toddler walked 7 miles, avoiding wild animals and major injuries along the way.
We saw lots of coyotes
and there are places that he could have fallen and gotten hurt.
The Yavapai County Search and Rescue Team were out on foot, on 4x4s, and up in the air searching for Bowden through light and dark for 16 hours.
He is a very lucky young man.
Luckily, Bowden had someone protecting him.
I could see how he was kept warm all night.
Buford, the Anatolian Pyrenees, found the boy sleeping on.
Let's hear it for Buford. Let's hear it for Buford. Now we go back to Summer Wells. If she wandered off, you're telling me no dog would have gone with her? Remember little Vady in Alabama? This happened a few months before Summer disappeared. She was chasing her dog, Annie, and they found her, I want to say like the next afternoon. Poor grandma couldn't keep up with her. And they found her and her puppy dog. Chrissy said, and cats. Yeah. OJ in there. He's not exactly Lassie. Okay. He's not going to find Timmy in the well. All right. Unless Timmy wants to, fill up his bowl. OJ's not wired that way.
Under a tree and guided him to the Dutton Ranch.
He definitely walked the whole way, and it was crazy. I got Buford with him for a mile, and I got in the rocks and I lost his track, but he was with him for at least a mile from my house. So.
In the week since the rescue, gifts for Buford have showed up on the Dutton's doorstep.
Toys, chew toys, snacks, you name it. It's just a little bit of everything.
And rewards for this good boy are still coming.
For all that he did in bringing this young man home.
The search and rescue team made Buford an honorary member and even gave him this vest to prove it.
It's very rewarding to our members when a search is successful. And people aren't really focused on who found him. They're just glad that they were found.
Things are back to normal for the Allen family.
He's just active. He's just exploring all the time.
But they'll never forget how this ranch dog saved their little boy.
I just look at a miracle and I'm never going to forget it. So I'm living that every day.
Near Kingman, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Poor little guy. And thank goodness for the puppy. Now, we have another major crime. This is off topic. I don't do this very often, but it's very important. We have another major crime out of Michigan.
Break at work. It makes sense that you might get distracted, get called away, but then you come back and find that someone has stolen your meal.
Wouldn't be a good feeling. Reporter Faraz Javed tells us a little more about how one Michigan police officer's sandwich disappeared and who the culprit was.
Nearly 40 officers serve the Wyandotte Police Department, upholding the law to the T.
But now one of their very own is being accused of a deplorable act.
It's usually not something another officer would do.
Officer Cade Barwig has been on the force for 5 years. The 28-year-old tells me that the incident happened in this break room during lunchtime.
Get out my lunchbox, get my sandwich out. I take 1 or 2 bites of it.
Officer Barwig immediately gets called to assist with an unruly prisoner. Upon his return, Officer Barwig was shocked to see his salami Munster sandwich gone.
Then I realized Ice was up here. Officer Ice. I knew that was kind of his track record.
Officer Ice has been on the K-9 unit for 11 years. The German Shepherd is a decorated cop who has assisted several federal agencies. Detective Sergeant Ken Grote says Ice also has hundreds of drug busts under his belt.
Officer Ice is stealing people's lunches.
He found over a kilo of heroin in a wall in a house in Detroit.
The Wyandotte Police Department posted the incident on social media, noting that Officer Ice has pleaded the fifth.
Yeah, he's not saying shit. He's not saying nothing. And they put it out. They have answered everybody about the stealing. Stealing is not only a crime, but is morally wrong too. Look at his mugshot. Some jobs, like that of being a police officer, require you to take an oath prior to starting. With the officer's sworn oath is a promise to protect person's property. That being said, it saddens me to report that a current officer of the Wyandotte Police Department is under investigation for stealing. But ICE invoked his Fifth Amendment. He knows the Constitution. Look at his mugshot. This is awesome.
Posted the incident on social media, noting that Officer Ice has pleaded the Fifth and asked for public opinion. The post since has gone viral with thousands of likes and over 8,000 shares. Lieutenant Neil Hunter tells me folks believe Officer Ice is being framed.
Everybody says the face says it all. He's innocent. He's got a...
He's being framed. He is being framed. That's what they said. The public has spoken. He did not eat that sandwich. He's being framed.
Officer Ice is being framed.
Everybody says the face says it all. He's innocent. He's got a handsome face, and he just couldn't do something this heinous.
Now, pretty much every day, Officer Ice receives treats and toys not only from Michigan, but from around the world. He also received his own sandwich.
Where are we now with this investigation? The public spoke. His attorneys have spoken, several of them, more attorneys than I've ever seen a defendant have. And he's been cleared of all charges, and he's back to work.
However, for Officer Barwig, justice may never be served.
It's different being the victim and just knowing you might not ever get that piece of item back or even food back.
Will you ever get over this and forgive Ice?
Yeah, I forgive him. He's done a lot of good for the city, and maybe he deserved a sandwich. Maybe not my sandwich, but maybe a sandwich.
Now he's got tons of gifts coming in. Look at this. Bonafide said, no crumbs, no proof. If the crumbs don't fit, you must acquit. Maria, Mrs. the South, said give him paw roll. I love that. Chrissy said, that's a prisoner I'd support. He's definitely being framed. I got too much of a laugh out of that. Oh my goodness. I laughed and laughed. I'll tell you, and I was like, oh, I've got to show this to everybody. Major crime. Major crime. All right, y'all. We got another show coming up in about an hour and a half. Let me see. I think I already posted the link in here. So please be back here in an hour and a half. It's not going to be a long live, but definitely something we need to talk about because, boy, it's got the whole state of New York buzzing. Well, you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for all the different posts from long-term members. You all have melted my heart. Diana, thank you for all the gifted memberships. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Wimbles. Thank you for all the super stickers. You all got my metabolism on a Monday buzzing. I'll see you back here in about an hour and a half. Love you.